The 2 Count, where comedy meets wrestling. Please comment, share, and like, and if you're watching the live stream, join us with your comments and questions. And now here are the hosts of The 2 Count, comedian John Russell, and wrestling broadcaster Big Ace.
Hey everybody, we're back. Back in the saddle. And happy evening to you, wherever you may be. I don't know. Oh, good. Why would you do that?
I'm not used to this one having an on and off switch. My mics usually never do when I'm doing these shows, but
so was it
switched it up?
Yeah. So was it the cat that broke the mic, or you actually?
No, and it's going to be weird talk for anybody who has no idea what we're talking about, but you're a radio broadcaster, so you know the cradles that hold these condenser mics. They have like the rubber bands and, whatever.
Yeah,
and it holds them in place because those are one-directional mics. And so they need to be in a specific spot when you're using them. And that cradle is probably 6, 7, 8 years old. And yeah, it just finally crapped out on me. Like the bands aren't on it at all. It just rolls around in there and it doesn't hold up at a good position. And then I was trying to get it fixed for tonight and broke it a little bit more and was like, screw it.
Well, there you go.
I'm not gonna mess with it because I'd be messing with it all night while we're trying to do the show, and that would be as I'm like swinging my bad hand around, and that would be very distracting. So I figured I'd bring it back to your roots of stand up and just hold a mic while we.
Now we're talking.
You know what I mean? I did stand up for a little bit. I kind of remember what it was like.
Yeah, I remember. That was good times.
It was really good times.
Yeah, you had a couple of good jokes. That were really good that I thought.
I pride myself on not being a very smart man, but I do think I put it together a couple good bits back in the day.
You do that were very, very good.
I've always enjoyed, and I know we're a little off topic now, but I will always enjoy and pride myself on the talking dog and the buying more weed and going to the zoo. I just hate that I couldn't use it anymore since Joe Rogan had something that was talking about the same thing and kind of went to the same place but didn't.
Yeah.
But enough that I was like, I'm never using that again because someone will eventually call me on that one.
It's funny how that works.
What was the other one that you liked?
Going to the Mexican wedding. Do you remember that one?
Yeah, there was a stabbing in the parking lot. That one was an actual true story.
Yeah.
Couldn't go
it's like be safe. I take phone books around my waist.
You got to when you come around the family like that. Things have never calmed down with my side of the family on that end as well. So it's still true today.
As happened. Let's see what's happened since
How have you been, man?
Okay. I went and did some computer work at the airport.
It is about that season.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Lucky people can come see you at the Minneapolis airport.
They'll never see me.
I know. The one time I went last year when you were working there, I was looking.
Yeah, dude. So I think I was working that day, but you went out on American, right?
Yeah, I do believe I went American. I splurged on that trip. I usually just go like Southwest because it's cheaper. But
yeah. We don't do American. We very rarely do American. They've got their own crew. Sun Country has their own crew. We never do Sun Country.
Y'all don't like them Americans? What's up?
It has nothing to do. Nothing to do with it.
I don't know if you watch the news, sir, but it has something to do with it now.
It does. But anyway, we used to do Air Canada a lot, Air Lingus, Spirit, Delta Connection. Delta Mainline has their own crew.
Nice.
We do United from time to time, but they have their own crew too.
Man, I like United.
I used to.
I've never had any real big issues with them.
I used to like United. Of course, Northwest, which is Delta now.
Yeah, Northwest. I remember when they were Northwest.
But my favorite airline of all time is Ozark Airlines.
Ozark.
And the only reason is because it's the first airplane I ever flew on. Held about 18 people. Was a Fairchild turboprop.
So that's like one of those 2-engine propellers, right?
Yep. And you get in, and then the wings on the top, and the props are on it, and you walk in like in the back. And it was quite fancy.
I was on a similar plane once. I flew from Minneapolis.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to see my best friend and his wife, and they were in Moberly, Missouri.
Oh.
And I think that's where it was. That's where they were going. He was going to school. Small town. So I think I had to. I don't remember where I flew, but I flew to someplace in Missouri. I think Kansas City, maybe.
Yeah.
And then from there, I flew on the tiniest little American propeller. It was an American airline, but it was a propeller plane. One of those ones you walk out onto the actual runway to go up the steps and get in it. Literally, like you said, probably like 30 people on the plane. And then we show up at this place in Missouri, which is still an hour away from where I was going. And it was like a one-room airport. I've never been in anything like that. I was so shocked. I was like, what in the hell is this? Where am I? Like, texted my friend and his wife, like, where do you guys live? I didn't sign up for this trip. Like, what the hell, guys? Like, it was crazy. It was scary. Those little planes were scary. And then I had to take off to get back to the Kansas City to connect to go home. And I was so scared. I left half of my stuff at the TSA gate, the scanning thing.
Oh, no kidding.
Like, they came running out and they're like, hey, you forgot like your watch and all your change and stuff. And I was like,
oh, there's my bombs.
I know, right? I was like, oh, sorry. I just want to get off this plane.
I'll tell you, it's so the small ones, the smallest ones. Well, we'll do small planes. The smallest one we do typically is a CRJ 200, which is it's two jets on the back and a flat wing, solid wing. And those are the ones I hate the most because I got to climb out and get underneath it.
Right.
And it's about 4 feet. Clearance, so it's not good for me. I was going to say also those small planes. I didn't have to fly on a small plane to get there, but I did fly one time from Fargo to Minneapolis, and the plane was small enough we could stop at Fergus Falls.
Nice.
Which think how ridiculous that is. But of course, that was a long time ago.
Right.
There was a comedy venue in Decatur, Illinois, that was actually at a restaurant inside the airport. And they had big windows, and the plane would come right up by you.
Oh, that's crazy.
It was the weirdest, but it was fun.
Nice.
Anyway. Other than that, I've had some shows get booked. I've had some shows get canceled. There was going to be in Ames, Wisconsin on the 16th, which is no longer going to happen because apparently the COVID is in Wisconsin the second hottest in the country. Second only to the White House. That's crazy. I do have a brewery. I think it's the 56th brewery in Northeast Minneapolis. We're doing a show on the 15th. And then I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but we're scheduled to go out to Pierce, South Dakota on Saturday the 17th. I don't think that's going to happen, but I don't know. They're crazy out there in South Dakota.
Crazy. They did have Sturgis.
They did. And only a few people.
Only a few. I actually had a scare right before my procedure last week.
Yeah.
But it all worked out. It seems so. Doing all right, and my hand's all right. Everything went good with my hand. That's why we weren't on last week. It's just a little swelling around the incision still though, not a lot of strength. But it feels 100% better compared to what my right hand did a week and a half. So I'm at the point now where I'm like, man, I hope this weather holds off for about 2-3 more weeks. I might be able to get one more round of golf in.
Oh yeah. So when they're doing that surgery, is it a local, or is it, or do they put you under?
No. It's invasive. They just numb my entire hand up basically from the ear up. They just numb it up, and then they do just a little incision. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, there it is, that little dot. Yeah, so, I mean, I could watch the whole thing. We talked during the whole thing, laughing. And they have it since it's on an ultrasound, which it drives me. It blows my mind watching them do this because I mean I'm watching this ultrasound screen that the doctor's watching while he's got this tool inside my hand that he's going to use to cut something. So it's like, there's nothing in there that's important that you can miss, maybe mess up like my nerves and veins and stuff. So I'm like, I'm watching it and he's just like poking around. Like, you see that there? Yep, that's what we want. And I'm just looking at him like, how did you learn this? Like, all that is just black and white dots on the screen.
Yeah.
This is amazing that you could do it. But then I'm also like, how foolproof is this stuff?
Yeah. So they strap your arm down pretty good then?
No, they don't even strap it down.
What?
Well, because it's so numb, I can't move it. I don't feel it. You don't.
Feel you can pick it up if you want.
If I wanted to, I could. I just wouldn't be able to move my hand because it's completely numb. But I mean, you don't feel any of the worst pain you feel is when they do the shot of Novocaine.
Oh yeah.
Those were the worst. And this time they actually used the spray before the actual shots of Novocaine, so that kind of made it actually a little better this time around too. But you could feel it, but it doesn't hurt. You can feel something's going on. You can kind of hear it, but you don't really. Nothing that I was freaking out. Like, I'm just laying there like, yep, whatever. Yeah, it's. I mean, if anybody has carpal tunnel and they need to have the surgery, because they just still do the other way, the actual full cut on the hand.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-inch or 5-inch cut, and they actually have to pull the tendons and everything off to get to the actual band that they gotta cut, and then that's like a 5 or 6 week, turnaround time before you can do anything. Where this is again 1 week later, and I'm back to work typing. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, I got to watch a lot of wrestling.
Hey, there you go.
A lot of wrestling last week because it was just the mood I was in. Man, I caught up on a lot of those independent shows that WWE has on the network now.
Yeah.
Like that, it was like the Evolve shows. Really like the Progress shows over in London. If you haven't watched those, JR, you should watch them. They're really good.
Which is the one that has Walter?
Progress.
Okay. Because I think that dude is,
and they're
awesome.
all kind of intertwined too. Because a lot of I think they share talent, Evolve and Progress. And I think there was maybe 1 or 2 other promotions they had on there, but those were kind of the 2 I was really watching.
Gotcha.
And again, mainly Progress. You know what's fun about it is you get a feel of what it's like overseas at a show, and it's funny. I think you would really like it because the ring announcer does 15 minutes before the actual show starts while he's in the ring.
Oh no,
it's a lot of crowd work. And I wouldn't say he's actually doing 15 minutes, but it's just he's talking to the crowd, getting ready for the show, and it ends up being usually pretty hilarious. It's pretty enjoyable, and then all of a sudden he's just like, "All right, let's go," and then he starts bringing the matches out, and it's different, It's not the full we're here, it's bell time, and then all of a sudden music and lights, and someone comes out like, "Yeah, it's a show, woo!" He's just in the ring, and anybody who watches any, wrestling and sees when they go overseas and do these tours like WWE, the crowds are way more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what makes WrestleMania special. It's because you have so many other fans there from around the world. Because again, you go to the UK, man, those fans are so much fun. They're singing that, which is great. They sing their chants. That's fun. And again, it's just a lot of fun. They get really into it. You can tell the talent's enjoying it. Where here it's fun, but I mean, it's also, I don't know. Well, I mean, if you go online, wrestling fans around here are horrible. And I'm not trying to call anybody out. And if you're watching, we really appreciate it. Not saying you're horrible, but specifically this time we're in, it's so back and forth of they suck, you suck, they suck, you suck. And it's again, who cares? I've seen the other shows out there where, they do their WWE segment and it's, oh, I love it. And it praise everything, even the shit. And then it's our AEW segment and it's, oh, why would you do this? That was stupid. This makes no sense. This is dumb. And it's those were basically the same gimmicks just on 2 different channels. So why are you praising one and shitting on the other? And the essence of them all is they're basically the same.
And the other part is too that there's very few things that are original.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and that's been a thing with wrestling. I mean, for Christ's sakes, the whole Ray, Dominic's not your son again. Whatever. And I get it. It was just the setup to get to where we're going with Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy, which
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I get they're playing up the whole age thing and she's 19 and he's like what, 28?
Whatever.
It's
great.
It's a little creepy, but it's better than if it was like
it's better than if Bobby Lashley and Lana.
Well, I was gonna say that, or it's like better. It's better than that than like you got freaking like Orton down there trying to like make out with her, who's been there for like 20 years. Like his career there has been longer than how long she's been alive.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and again, we've seen crazy stuff. I mean, you obviously know there's no hold bars when it goes. Like, look at the McMahon stuff throughout the years. I mean, they've beaten each other, they've spitting on each other, they've called each other every name in the book on international TV, all for the show. So there's no rules. I mean, obviously, I don't think they'd go to a point where it does get super creepy, but at the end of the day, too, she's a 19-year-old girl. What can you do?
You never know.
And it's an interesting storyline now, though, because I was never a Murphy guy, but now I'm kind of like, oh, well, I mean, if he's going to beat up on Seth Rollins, I might be into it just because I like watching Seth Rollins get beat up right now.
That part of it, they've done very, very well. Because I was really invested in having Murphy punch him in the face.
Yeah, and it kind of looked like it wasn't going to go that way for a second.
I know.
So when he finally did it, it was good. I mean, we can get into some of that stuff.
You want to do that, or do you want to do some local stuff quick?
Oh, there's local stuff?
Well, sort of. So when I were going to go to the Kickstart My Heart show, and I believe that was October.
Yeah, I don't know. It was in like
17 weeks or something. And it was going to be very close to my house in Rosemont. And I got to tell you that I got a refund on Sunday from my ticket.
Did you? Now, let me ask you, did you get the money or is it just pending?
I don't know. I bought it with my credit card.
But did you buy it on like PayPal?
Yeah,
because I did that, and my refund is, pending.
I
haven't actually gotten the money yet. It's just pending in my PayPal. They haven't approved it.
Well, I don't know. I go look at my credit card account. On PayPal, it's gone through. But anyway, they canceled because in a nice venue in Rosemont, Minnesota. Going to be the first time they're going to be at that venue. It's actually a church hall. And I think if I remember correctly, the email said something along the lines of due to our concern for the fans and the venue's concerns for safety, we're going to call it off. Which makes sense because who knows how big the church hall is.
Yeah, it looked pretty big, but I mean, it's a good call. I mean,
you got to be safe. It's inside.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I still would have went because
I would have too.
I'm not an animal, and I make sure I'm clean and keep my distance and wear my mask.
I do 2 out of those 3.
Anybody who doesn't do that, but I mean, it's easier to just do it and not be a dick.
Absolutely.
Just saying.
I do 2 out of those 3.
Yeah, but
I don't clean.
Hey man, that's on you. That's just a personal problem.
I know.
But scrub the balls sometimes, JR.
I mean, you got to get the hot spots.
I mean,
the problem is I always say this.
But you're not doing the Axe body spray showers, are you?
Fuck no. We used to call those back when I was growing up. We used to call those an Irish shower.
Yeah,
you just put on some deodorant.
Yeah, it's too bad that show got canceled.
So that one was canceled. Unfortunately, they from the communication, I had a little back and forth. I just promoter a note and said, "Hey, thanks. I appreciate the integrity that you have in looking out for everybody."
I did. I was just like, "Why the hell is my money not in my PayPal yet?" What the shit, dude? It took you 4 days to get me my money. $45, really?
So anyway,
I wonder, do I get my donation dollar back too? I don't even know what it was for.
I don't know if I even donated.
Maybe I didn't donate.
If not, it's a great way for us to make money. But so that one got canceled, and he seems like a nice enough guy, But then you sent me a notice that I hadn't seen it. That F1rst Wrestling has a show coming up on November the 1st.
Yeah, they tentatively have their first show for a while, I think, on November 1st in St. Paul. So I don't know. I'm thinking. I don't know. I haven't committed on if I'm going to buy a ticket yet or not. I kind of want to see how the next week or two go.
I am with you.
And that's just because, we're in a state right now where numbers continually are going up. So, I want to be. And again, like I said, had a bit of a scare about a week or two ago, just as far as like maybe being exposed and stuff like that. So
yeah.
And it can be a pain in the butt. So
the big point for me is as I go out to shows and they fall off and get canceled, I'm certainly don't want to commit any money to something where it's like, oh, we got to give you money back.
So. Yeah. Like I said, I'm gonna wait. That might even be like if there's tickets for sale week of maybe. I don't know. I don't know where that one's at either. It looks like it's at like a temple or something. What's everybody doing these things in like religious buildings?
Because they don't need as much money.
Yeah, but man,
and they're not
I've heard seen and said some things at wrestling shows that shouldn't be said in religious.
It shouldn't be said in a parking lot of Walmart
or be done. Well, I mean, come on, that's anything goes grounds in the parking lot of Walmart.
You're right. Maybe Target.
Yeah, that's classy.
But fingers up at Target. But I don't know. I just feel like these churches probably are not houses of worship are probably not making as much money as they normally would either.
Could you imagine if Joey Ryan was still wrestling and he did a shirt show? I mean, he's already going to hell, but whatever.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, have you seen that he's actually pressing charges against like 3 of the accusers?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Bro, just know when to not. Just know when to go away.
Just like, so ridiculous.
The other thing too is you look so dumb that you're picking like 3 specific people when you had like well over 12 people who had accusations on you.
Oh yeah.
Like you need to settle the hell down, bro. Not a good move. Like, and it's not going to do anything for him. It's not going to save his career.
No,
because now that all that stuff came out, I mean, how can you not look at what he was doing and be like, how many times was he backstage and like a promoter had to go to a girl and be like, you're either going to do this or you're not in the match when it comes to the spots, you know what I mean? Yeah, he was doing. So, oh man, just stop, dude.
Rough stuff.
Stop.
So, other stuff that I found was interesting. Ember Moon is back.
Yeah.
After
a couple returns.
Yeah. But she's back, which is great because she was injured.
Although she's while.
Yeah, she was on. I think it was Achilles. Was hers. But she's back and came back at NXT, which I think is where she's going to stay.
Yeah, more than likely. She'll probably end up being a trainer there too, is my guess.
Yeah.
Which, hey, I mean, more power to him, because I mean, I was telling you before we went on here, I watched the Takeover, was it 31 special this last week?
Oh yeah.
A great show, and to be honest, it wasn't the big names you usually, at least the current big names in NXT. At least maybe I'm wrong, maybe I don't know. I'm still on the fence with Damian Priest.
Mm-hmm.
Just still on the fence. I don't know, but Finn Balor and O'Reilly put on one hell of a match, to the point that it was like I could see why Balor's like completely right now content back in NXT and probably has no want to go back to the main roster at any time soon.
Yeah.
Because I mean he's putting on. I mean that was a really great match. The main event those two put on.
And I always like Kyle O'Reilly when he and Fish were Red Dragon and ROH.
Yeah, and both of those, I mean, they went hard, and the talk is both of them came out with injuries. I don't know the severity. I don't know exactly what they were, but
they thought Balor may have broken his jaw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, it was a rough match. It was a hard hitting match. It was a good time. I mean, it was a good time. They went a while, and I mean, threw everything at each other. It was a great wrestling match. Something you don't get a lot nowadays. So
yeah.
It was fun to have that. Io Shirai, Candice LeRae was all right. I think it wasn't Gargano and Damian Priest. Was that who it was?
Yeah.
Again, good match. I'm just still not 100% on Damian Priest, but I'm probably forgetting other matches from that card. But overall, it was a decent show.
Yeah.
It was kind of weird that it was on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Because the NXT typically runs Saturday night takeovers.
That's right. Had I known it was on Sunday, see, I got confused. I thought it was Saturday. I thought I had missed it.
Oh, did you? Yeah, no, it was on Sunday. So, yeah, it was a good show. I really did enjoy it.
So let's go.
The cool thing before we get off it though.
Oh yeah.
They made the announcement for the next takeover, and that is that they're bringing Halloween Havoc back.
Interesting.
And Shotzi Blackheart's going to host it, which, that girl is entertaining as hell. I've got to tell you. If you haven't gotten on the Shotzi Blackheart train, I don't know what you're doing. She kicks ass in the ring, great wrestler, and just all around entertaining. Like, I can watch her do her thing, and it's just a good time. She was actually on some of those Evolve stuff that I was watching on the network as well. But yeah, man. So that's going to be cool. I saw some people hating on it though. So what's your thought on this? Because people are like, oh, they're not original anymore, and they're just making money off the WCW. This should be an AEW. And to me, it's like, I always loved Halloween Havoc. So the fact that it's coming back, I don't care who's doing it. I'm just psyched that it's back.
My opinion is if there wasn't an AEW, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know though, because weren't they doing some of the didn't War Games happen before AEW? Yeah, War Games has gotten 2 or 3 years deep now. They were doing that before AEW.
But
was a thing.
But they weren't. So some of it they're just doing it. Like Halloween Havoc, they bring back up because Cody probably. I mean, it's been in the news that Cody's been trying to get all of this stuff. That copyright run away, get it back. And he hasn't.
Right. And that's the other thing with that is, for me, and this is where you see the state of a lot of these wrestling fans nowadays, and that's, man, why are you guys all mad? And it should be like, I would rather see AEW not do it and come up with something new, because they are a brand new company. WCW doing it makes perfect sense because they've owned that name for 15 years now. Get off of it, people. Yeah. Move the hell on. Seriously, it's like, they shouldn't do. They've owned it. They just haven't done it, but they've owned the name since they bought WCW back when. Why is this an issue for people? Get over it. It's going to be a fun show. Watch it, enjoy it. NXT takeovers are always a great show.
Yeah.
Very rarely do you get a bad takeover. And have fun. And you know what? Like I said, AEW, I would rather see them. And the other thing too is, AEW runs their fall pay-per-view, winter pay-per-view in November. After Halloween. So why would they change what they've been doing for going to be the second year now next month?
I will say this. I haven't heard anybody on the AEW bandwagon or that is involved with AEW gripe about this one.
Oh, I have. I've seen it.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. People on social media have been going. There's quite a few people who are, this is ridiculous. Why are you bringing it in? And again, it's just like, and that's where it's like, how are you really a wrestling fan though? Because that's awesome.
I don't know, man. It's like
the other thing too is if they brought it back, they couldn't use the original Halloween Havoc logo.
Right.
So they would have to change it anyways. So it wouldn't be the same throwback.
Maybe they should. If they really wanted to do it, they could call it Halloween Hullabaloo.
There you go, the Monster Mash.
There you go.
That's the actual theme song. I hope to God that's the theme song for Halloween Havoc. They just now WWE presents NXT Takeover Halloween Havoc, and all of a sudden they did the mash. They did the Monster Mash. Oh, that would make me so happy.
It would be fine by me as well.
Triple H, do it.
All right. So you followed along I watched stuff that I missed. My impression of SmackDown on Friday. The Fiend came back. That's about it.
Yeah, I didn't watch Friday Night SmackDown. I don't remember what I was doing. But I did watch back the segment with Kevin Owens and Alexa Bliss, and
Yeah.
I mean, that is the top thing they got going. I think
That's
right
their
now
story.
SmackDown is this whole Alexa Bliss becoming, and I'm not going to say Sister Abigail because that does not necessarily mean where this is going, but I like it. I really do like it. And I like that they brought it back on Raw because now you're seeing, like, okay, we're definitely getting ready for a draft.
Yeah.
Because now Owens is going to be on SmackDown when he's like, okay, I'll come to you. And again, Friday night is the first night of the WWE draft. So
over 2 nights.
I like the drafts.
I like the drafts. I like it better when they stick with them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously it's always nice when you pick a storyline and actually run with it. So, but yeah, I might actually watch it this week.
Yeah, I probably will. But as far as the actual SmackDown show, I mean, that was it.
Yeah, and like I said, I didn't even watch it.
I mean, they had stuff going on, but I watched it. But as normal, I was doing something else. I wasn't just sitting there because usually, like if I watch Raw, stuff will catch my attention. I'll stop what I'm doing and I'll watch it.
Mm-hmm.
That usually never ever happens in SmackDown.
Right. Yeah, it's hard for them to stay afloat. Like you got the whole Morrison and Miz doing the stuff with heavy machinery and Money in the Bank, which it's first of all, it's already to me ludicrous that they're gonna maybe run an angle where we're gonna take Money in the Bank off of Otis because that was a huge win and people were happy to see that happen. So why do you got to change it now just because he's not the guy now? That's also your fault for putting Mandy Rose away from him.
Mm-hmm.
But again, what happens on Monday or Friday if he gets drafted? Or Monday, I guess Monday would be the Raw picks. So what happens Monday if he gets drafted to Raw and he's back with?
But here's what I think, dude. I think what's going to happen is they're going to do the 1-1-1-1 like they did.
You think? I hope they do. I would be way better than if they just do all the SmackDown on.
I think that's what they did the last time.
And I didn't watch it last year because it seemed a little weird when they had the whole Draft Central on the network.
Yeah, that was dumb. But that was the kiss up to Fox.
It definitely was, and it worked because they got their deal.
Yeah.
Good for you, WWE.
Now on Monday, because I'm ready to go by Friday.
And that's just it. You can't keep up when you have a show like Monday, which again, they've had some strong weeks, they've had some weak weeks. But if you look at this last week's show, you had a good segment with Kevin Owens. All the Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre is fire right now.
Yep.
The Legend stuff is fire right now. I even am enjoying the Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax dynamic.
I like that. I don't know
because you've never been a Nia Jax guy.
I don't like Nia. I don't like her, but with Baszler, it's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed. They have apparently been really working with Asuka on learning English.
Yeah, I can tell.
She's still not like fluent speaking wise, but she's way better than when they first brought her up. And to be fair, I like the fact that they make her look very, very strong. Because I think she deserves that, and she deserved that from the beginning.
Well, it's just crazy that they did that in NXT and then just totally dropped it in WWE.
Yeah.
Or main roster, sorry.
But I'm not 100% 100% behind. As much as I like Zelina Vega, I'm not 100% behind her. All of a sudden, just jumping the whole line.
No, you know what that seems like, because I also feel like this last week there was way more emphasis on the women's tag division. Than Asuka and the championship. So I feel like right now they're really just kind of like
treading water a little.
Who's the next girl? And to be honest, I I don't know. I feel like it's going to either be someone that's going to come over from SmackDown will then kind of get shot up to being her number one contender. Yeah, otherwise, I'm trying to think of the current roster right now, and it's just kind of like...
I think it depends a little bit on what happens between Bayley and Sasha. And obviously, they can't split them up.
Yeah, and you can't right now because that would destroy that whole thing. So those two are obviously going to be on the same show no matter where it is, whether that be they both get drafted to Raw. Who knows? You never know when the drafts are happening. But yeah, because I'm trying to just think of any like... I honestly, off the top of my head, like after this last week's show, it really felt like it was all tag women's matches.
Yeah.
I couldn't even tell you who another women's single competitor would be.
Yeah, and I will say this: Mandy and Dana Brooke look great.
Oh yeah, and I think they're going to be the ones that take the titles.
I do too.
I really do. I'm glad that it didn't happen with the Riot Squad because... Well, I'm glad it hasn't happened yet. I hope that doesn't happen at Hell in a Cell. I'm all for Liv Morgan turning on Ruby Riott.
Yeah.
I just think that needs to happen. I think it would be a great arc to that whole story. It's just weird that they let Liv Morgan be like, I'm going to be me now, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, all right, kid, you're my best friend again.
Yeah.
I don't buy into it anymore. So
biggest news of the show, though, is Mustafa Ali is apparently the leader of Retribution.
Yeah.
Which is amazing because he doesn't have a name like Slapnuts or T-Bone or Fried Chicken.
So let me ask you this. Do you... and this is a stupid question, but you kind of do have to ask. Was this the plan the whole time? Or was this maybe an answer, respond to the backlash they got last week? Because, rumors were that talent backstage was laughing at Retribution last week. Like,
I'm sure they were.
You guys are done. You're buried. You're never going to get out of this hole. Because again, I told you before we went on, when the moment happened where Ali was all of a sudden the leader of Retribution, like that's a legitimate swerve. That last time I got fooled like that was probably Mark Henry's retirement.
Oh God, that was the best. But when you go back. You remember who is it? Who on the video screen?
Oh yeah, it was the hacker stuff. And at that point, it was rumored to be Ali.
And I thought
just dropped it.
Yeah.
And now, so that's another thing. Let's see what happens next week. Let's see if they bring that full circle. They should. They really should. If they want to make this right, bring it back full circle. Have him. Oh, I was hacking, and now we did the. Because it can all tie in together. But I want to see maybe him be like, hey, we're going to change the names. I'm not going to call my guys Slapnuts and, freaking Toolbar and whatever.
Toolbox.
Oh, Toolbox. Yeah, whatever. Chains. Like, we already did that. Remember, what was their name? What was the biker gang that was in WWE back in the Attitude Era? And he had, like, Chains and Gasoline and
I can't remember.
Blaze. They all had like American Gladiator names. Nitro.
But this is Slipknot.
And it's a cheap, like we said last time. It's like a cheap Slipknot. And even this time when he went face to face, which I think it was Dikovich and Dikovich. Dikovich, and then what's his name? Dio Madden. Again, when he was like,
I don't know what Lunchbox.
Right, and when he was face to face with them before he did the turn and was like, "I'm the leader," like the whole time I'm like, why do I care about Dio Madden? Like literally, he was on commentary for like a month, and then they were like, "You're not good." That was all we got. I don't even remember him really wrestling in NXT, and maybe he did some matches, but they were like probably more just enhancing, like he wasn't a player. So again, it's like I don't care. Like, why are you wearing this stupid mask? You look dumb.
I don't understand the get-ups.
And then the other thing is, so Dikovich, he was the dude that had the feud for a while with Keith Lee, right? He was the other big guy, and they were putting on like stellar matches, right?
Yeah.
So I rewatched this weekend last year's War Games, where it was Dikovich, Keith Lee, Ciampa, and then Kevin Owens was their surprise teammate. And that whole time I was like, this dude was doing perfectly fine with that gimmick, that there was no need to bring him to the main roster in this stupid retribution thing. Like they're definitely, even with Ali being the leader of all this, he's the one that's going to get all the attention on this. So you'd still just pigeonhole this guy being like a lackey when it's like him and Keith Lee were putting on amazing matches, and you're going to push Keith Lee to the moon. We're already seeing that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And you're going to just give him this shit gimmick where he's got to wear a mask and be called Crowbar or whatever? Like, what the this is ridiculous. Like, hey, Numbchuck, come out here with your mask. It's time to go shut the lights off. Like, what the shit? I don't know, man.
I will say this.
I was happy to see that something came out of it, because after last week, it was bad, dude.
No, I will tell you this. When they set up that whole thing, and Ali said, "Bring your guys out. I don't care." I knew right then he was the guy.
I'm not gonna lie, when he said that too, and he's like, "And then I'm gonna start with you and end with you," pointing at Lashley. It's like, I didn't jump straight to Retribution, but I was like, he's got somebody, and it's not Apollo Crews and Ricochet.
Yeah.
And it is also, when you look back at it, it is weird that he randomly got inserted in all this like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And also, where's Cedric Alexander? Did he get hurt?
I don't know. He might have COVID.
Oh, that's right. Some of them did. Yeah.
The only other thing, and I don't want to skip off of that. The only other thing that really I thought was fantastic, and I had high hopes for, was Strowman versus Keith Lee.
Yeah.
And I had high hope for it, and it turned to kind of crap.
Yeah.
And I blame it more on the clownish character that Braun Strowman is.
Yeah, I mean,
at this point,
he's this generation's Big Show. So I mean, it's always going to be some. And again, when I say that, I hope no one's like, you talking shit about Big Show, like he's a future Hall of Famer and all that. And he definitely is a future Hall of Famer, and he is definitely one of the best big man wrestlers ever in the industry. And I mean, top 100 wrestlers ever. He's definitely in that list, and that's a tight list. It's 100 sounds a lot, but if you go over the decades of professional wrestling, there's some monster names in each decade. Yeah. That's a big list. So, not saying that, but what I'm saying is he never really became the main event guy like Braun was on track to be when he destroyed Roman, when he was destroying Brock, when he was flipping ambulances and fire trucks.
Yeah.
You built him up so high, and then you just
turned it to crap.
Just ruined it. And now he's just, again, I mean, he's on SmackDown, then he's on Raw Underground, now he's on Raw. He'll probably show up like on freaking NXT next week.
Here's the thing. When you think about this, there's a reason that Big Show didn't get as much attention on WWE as he should have. And that's because he was such a huge player over at WCW during the Wars. And then when he came over, I mean, he's still. I mean, when you talk about huge mammoth men that were actually good wrestlers and did great work in the ring, I think, and this is just an informal list, but I think you go Andre. I think you go Big Show.
I feel like we should stop and just do this for next week's list.
Well, we could.
But no, I get what you're saying, and like, because the thing too with him in WCW is he was the only real big giant.
Yeah.
You know, like even Undertaker, when he was the big giant back in the 90s, they brought in Giant Gonzalez to work with him because they didn't have any of the giants at that time. Diesel eventually, but at that time. But I mean, you look at when Big Show broke into WWE at that time, the stars weren't big guys necessarily at that point. Right. You had Michaels, you had Austin, you had Rock, you had all these guys that were just going. And then on top of that, you started bringing in other big guys like Mark Henry, like Brock Lesnar, like Great Khali. you start bringing all these other giants in that it's like, well, what's so special about him? There's like 5-6 big guys backstage now, and one of them walks like his knees don't bent, Cody. Henry was just awesome. I will never say anything on Mark Henry because he's one of my favorites. He can squish my head with his thumb and his pointy finger if he wanted.
But he's not. The thing is, he's mammoth,
and he's mammoth. He's not tall.
He's not tall.
Yeah. And then Brock Lesnar. I mean,
yeah.
You don't have to like him, but I mean, the guy is.
But I like him.
Oh, and I like him too, and he's a beast. You know what I mean? But then you see those guys like Kevin Nash. Everybody loved Kevin Nash, but those later years, him being a big guy didn't pay off because he couldn't move in the ring. His knees were shot.
Yeah.
And then he started tearing quads all the time, and that's how that goes. And then he starts being in Magic Mike. It's weird. But
also John Wick.
Was he in John Wick too?
Yeah, he's the doorman.
And we can't forget about The Longest Yard because there was like 5 of them in there.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that's so I mean that kind of devalued Big Show when really he shouldn't have been. He should have been pushed. He was a big guy. He was one of the originals. He's one of the originals when his first gimmick in was he's Andre the Giant's nephew.
Yeah.
Like if that was what they were using, obviously there wasn't really many big guys after Andre between him. Where now it's like everyone has. I mean, you go look at AEW, and I told you that it's like they've got like 3 or 4 big guys right now. And
yeah.
How are you going to make Lance Archer look like this big tough guy though? When you got Brian Cage, you got Luchasaurus, you've got Brodie Lee.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to. It's hard to use the big guy angle. I mean, you can use it how you are, but when your whole gimmick is he's the monster, he's the beast. He's whatever. You got to be that, and it's hard.
Well, and of course, depends on how they book stuff.
Yeah, that's true too. I mean,
but anyway,
we all know they don't always give us gold, but yeah, man. So I mean, that's what's hard with Braun Strowman is, I mean, he kind of is that. I also I wanted to touch on the Buddy Murphy, Seth Rollins, and family stuff, just because. I know there was some people too kind of being like, I don't know, she's pretty young. Is this really the right storyline to be putting this young girl in or whatever? And I'm kind of on the fence about it. Whatever. At the end of the day, guys, it is just TV and it is acting. Guys, it's not real.
Well, like we were talking, all the stuff that McMahon did. I mean, for God's sake, man. The Undertaker kicked.
Oh, that he fired her. He called her a bitch. She kicked him in the balls. Him and Shane had like a crazy hardcore match. Linda gave him the old he-ho under on the balls. The genetic jackhammer took a hit that night. I mean, it's that, and I mean, the guy made out with like Trish Stratus in front of his own wife in front of an arena, sold out arena.
Bad.
They obviously will do anything for the show. So that being said. I'm not. First of all, this made Buddy Murphy look way more interesting to me, and I've never been a Buddy Murphy fan. He's great at what he does, a great worker, awesome talent. It was just not somebody that I was always like, yeah, that's my guy. But man, it turned me on him a little bit to see him turn on Seth. Like that's what makes those things special. When you have like this like cult like gimmick faction going on. And to have emotion tie into it when you do break it up like they did, that was great. It was great. And then to see Seth Rollins end up with the upper hand, because the whole time I was watching, I had a buddy over here, we were hanging out, and I said, like, as soon as he was out there, I was like, oh, you know what's gonna happen, right? Like they're gonna fight, but like Seth is eventually gonna be beating him up, and she's gonna make the save, and that's where this is gonna get interesting. I kind of thought they were maybe gonna do a kiss.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen. But then, she did show up. I kind of was wanting more, though. I wanted a little bit more from the Mysterio family, or at least another backstage segment that night where we can get a little bit more answers. But I get it. They're leaving me hanging for next week. But I am interested to see where this all ends up going.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm also interested to see does this eventually, like, is she going to eventually wrestle?
Who knows?
I mean,
they don't have. They've had in the past year, how many people have they had involved that didn't actually wrestle? I can think of only two.
Yeah.
Maybe three.
Yeah, and even if she doesn't in this time around, though,
that's fine.
This could be the groundwork, though, for her becoming a character and eventually getting a match.
Yeah.
Which would be funny because we just did a countdown a couple weeks ago about generational wrestlers, and you said it yourself. There really aren't any women generational wrestlers, you know?
Yeah.
You had
other than Charlotte.
Charlotte, Tessa Blanchard, and what was the Road Warriors manager?
Ellering.
Ellering and his Rachel Ellering.
Yeah.
You know, she's still going too.
I mean, there have been some, but it's not a lot.
But this would also be like,
other than huge.
This is a big name, you know. That's a big name. Mysterio. So, yeah, man, I'm interested to see where it goes. I like it.
Yeah.
I like. It'd be funny to see, like, you know, we're getting into November and stuff. Let's get a Thanksgiving gimmick going with Buddy joins the Mysterios for Thanksgiving, and it'd be great.
Chase the
Rollins,
chicken.
Rollins crashes it.
The gobbledygooker
turkey, and
he could come as the gobbledygooker.
You know, he ends up getting like raised, like, I don't know, like their cousin or something. I don't know. Something has to happen. I want to see someone get on Seth's side in this whole deal, though.
So
I kind of wanted to see. I still kind of want to see Dominic turn.
I do too, and I think he will ultimately. But I just want to make this point, and then we'll talk about what's coming up tomorrow on AEW. The only point is we didn't get a barbecue food fight this year, which sort of pisses me off. So I'm hoping maybe we could have one around Thanksgiving time.
Do you remember back in the day where, like, every year when they did Smackdown, when it was, I think, on Thursday nights, which was Thanksgiving, and they would still run that show, and every year they would have the Thanksgiving food fight. Like, they would just put the food out and be like, this is gonna happen. Those things were classic, man.
And dumb as hell, but enjoyable as hell as well.
Yeah, man.
I always like to see who was going to have the most shit on him.
I can't even remember the last good food fight we've had on WWE program.
We haven't had a good one.
How are we like? This is what it makes me laugh about wrestling fans, and I know we're trying to get to some AEW before we end the show here in a little bit, but it's so funny that we can be like, I can't believe they did this. This was such a horrible storyline. Oh my God, that food fight was hilarious. It was so good, you guys. Like, we were the worst people in the world. I love it. Anyways, yeah, AEW, man. Let's get this. This is good stuff.
So obviously, the big news is it's the 30-year anniversary for Chris Jericho. Now, I don't know if it's specifically the exact, but it seems like it's a good point to it.
Bottom line, though, is the fact that he's still going and he's still so relevant and such a big name in the industry at this point after 30-some years in the business, man. Like, that's not many people can do that.
It's huge. And I got to tell you, if you watch the Road to Jericho 30 on YouTube that AEW put out, I didn't know the history of hey, Chris. Good to see you.
Chris, how's it going, buddy?
I didn't know the history of Luther and Jericho. I was not aware of it.
Yeah, I didn't watch all of it, but I've known that those two have been longtime friends.
Longtime friends, tag team partners. Storyline enemies.
Yeah, he's definitely I think a pick that, like, he's a guy that I think Jericho brought into AEW.
He brought him in. And I think what's going to happen with this match is it's going to pop him.
I hope.
Because he's a weird-looking dude. And I like weird-looking dudes.
Well, and he had a good surprising debut. Remember when he debuted on AEW and everybody's like, oh, who is this guy? And he's with Brandy and that weird faction she had. And then that weird faction shit out because it was like, hey, your husband's a face and you've been a face your entire career in this industry. Why are we making you a heel now? It's not working.
And by the way, what happened to the bald girl?
She was, I seen her on Dark a few weeks back, I think.
Oh, did you?
I think so. I think she's still around. Maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember. Well, she was in the tag match, I think. She was in that tag tournament, wasn't she?
Oh, I didn't. Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe it was just on Dark that I've seen her recently, but.
So that's going to be good. I'm sure they're going to have a big retrospective. I don't know if you saw posted a guitarist who was of note. I can't remember his name right now. Did a kind of a medley of all Jericho's theme music.
Nice.
And it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. But it's certainly something we can't play here or we'll get copyright stricken.
Right. Yeah, no, that'll be a good show. It'll be fun to watch the 30 years. It's just too bad because I would really like to see it if they had like full access to his career, which isn't going to happen because most of his big moments are not going to be aired on that thing tomorrow. But it'll be cool to see. I'm curious to see, are they going to have like talent do anything? Or are they going to like do like backstage? So like how WWE would do something like that, like, oh, he's such a great talent or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be cool to see. That match will be a lot of fun. I don't remember much that happened on last week's show, but I do want to just give a shout out. Red Velvet killed it with Britt Baker.
Yeah,
so that was awesome. My friend.
And for those of you who don't know, Ace is very well acquainted with this young woman.
And it's not. If you listen to our Briscoe and Big A show with me and Wes Briscoe, you'll know it's not really a secret. They're pretty open about it. We actually had her on the show and we talked about their relationship. It was interesting. But so she's dating my boy Wes Briscoe. They in love. It's so cute, so nice. Anyways, no, it's awesome, and I got to meet her when she came up here last time. She was obviously on our show, so I've talked to her, and nothing but a sweetheart. Great story. Great background. Her father was I think Olympic boxer.
Oh wow!
And stuff like that. I mean, just an amazing person. She really is a good person that deserves good fortune. So it's really cool to see her getting these opportunities she's getting, and hopefully it sounds like we might see some more of her on AEW going down the line here. So that's awesome. So big shout out to her and everybody who follow Red Velvet, support her, all that good stuff.
Another match that will happen tomorrow is the dog collar match between Cody and Brodie Lee,
which is going to be fun too, because we're going to see more Brandy and Anna Jay get into this, and
there's definitely going to be blood.
That's the first thing that I thought when as soon as Cody cut the promo and then did the whole, oh, there'll be blood, and I was like, okay, he's going to walk out in a bleeding mess like always. So hopefully it doesn't go down that road where we have to have another talk about, is he doing too much?
I still think he is. But I'm curious as to why they feel they have to go from what happened with Brodie Lee winning that title from him and beating the crap out of him to a dog collar match immediately. And granted, it's Brodie Lee asked for it, but I'm like, really? Right away?
What I don't like about it, and I get how they're doing this because they're not WWE. They're not running a pay-per-view every 3 to 4 weeks.
Right.
So I get that. But I also do... that just seems like a big match, and we really only are 3-4 weeks out from Full Gear. Why is that not on that pay-per-view card? I feel like we'll probably still have... I hope so. If they end this on tomorrow and we start moving to something else with that title going into Full Gear, to me that was just wasted then. You didn't give it time to really breathe and do its thing. So hopefully they carry this on to an actual match where something with that title will happen at Full Gear. But yeah, it's a big leap. But I think that's also like, they're just, as much as anybody will be like, no, they're just running their show, it's what they're doing. No, both sides are throwing things out to try to get the upper hand on each other. You said it yourself with Halloween Havoc, like, oh, if AEW was around, they maybe wouldn't have done it. Well, AEW is like, hey man, what's something WWE hasn't done in years? Dog collar match. And to be honest, the dog collar match could be a really good match.
Oh God,
guys, put on a good show. It can be an amazing match.
The best one goes. I mean, there's been several really good ones in Node. I mean, the first one that I remember so many of these scrap matches and stuff, but they wouldn't do them until they wouldn't do them this close. They were to sell tickets.
Yeah, like to me, this could have been just a rematch for the title, and then it goes awry because of Dark Order, and then Anna and Brandy and all that, and then we build to a stipulation match for the title down the line. I do feel a little quick, but again, too, they're doing good. They're running their game. Their ratings are doing good. They're not. I mean, to be honest, TNT's got to be pretty happy. Turner Network's got to be pretty happy with how this is all panned out, because to be honest, with this whole pandemic thing going on, live events and live TV events and stuff is a thing that's been struggling, and it's been hard for, those things to happen.
Yeah.
And AEW not found a way. They were fortunate enough that their owners have these assets that they can use so they can keep doing what they're doing and do it at a great level. And that was the thing that's been the talk of this whole pandemic, is those first few months with these no crowd shows, is AEW was ahead of WWE by leaps and bounds as far as quality and how they were doing this without a crowd. Where now everybody's kind of got their own thing. WWE's going the virtual route. AEW is just going to go the fan route right now at capacity, at a certain capacity. But the interesting thing will be, guys, is I think Hell in a Cell is the last weekend of October, I think so. Or no, because Halloween I think is the last weekend, so I think it might be
second
week before. I want to say the contract at Amway is done after Hell in a Cell. So are they going to renew it? Are they going to find something else? Are they going to start bringing crowds in? Florida's open for business. So
I remember seeing something about them talking about allowing some crowds in.
And I want to say at the NXT thing, there might have been some fans there. There was definitely some NXT people, but there was like some kids and stuff in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you watched it, but it was an interesting setup because it's this whole CWC. I can't Capital Wrestling.
Oh, Capital. Yes. WC. No, CWC.
Yeah.
Capital.
The boards, the hockey boards, the hockey glass, but now they've also added chain link fence behind that hockey glass just to give it that which I was like, that's so stupid. You got chain link fence up, but then you covered it with glass. Like, it doesn't even matter then. What the hell? You know what I mean?
Two levels of protection.
I guess, but it was cool. It was a cool little experience, and it was cool how they had all the fans up there and stuff.
Yeah.
And WWE's been very successful with the way they've done their virtual viewing, just like a lot of these pro sports are doing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, man, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, because if they both start running fan shows in Florida, first of all, Florida is going to be a hotbed for a lot of things now.
Oh yeah.
COVID, wrestling shows, vacations, like it's the only place you could really go do anything.
And hurricanes,
yeah. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what happens, or if they just renew and keep the Thunderdome going. I'm interested to see.
I think they're probably going to. I mean, they're smart enough. They probably got a couple of things on the line.
The other thing too is, do we see AEW start to slowly boost the attendance up? Because I think they've been running at 10-15% capacity right
Something
now.
Like that. I think you have to be very careful. I think if you look at the map where incidents are rising again, it's in the northern and Midwest states.
Yeah, we're taking a hit.
And part of that, I think, is because it's starting to get colder, and we're starting to go inside. And people are, over the summer, because you can do things outside, which if you're not from the north, you know that, like, man, you try to squeeze every possible moment that the sunlight is out, being outside. And so what's happening, I see this in comedy. We did a lot of shows outside.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're being booked inside because it's getting cold. But it is, like I said at the beginning of the show, some of them have already been canceled.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I don't even know what the hell I'm saying.
Yeah, it's gonna, it's gonna be interesting to see, like, for us, it's now cold and flu season, the beginning.
Yeah.
Where we're in a cold place, it's easy to get sick up here because it gets 20, 30 below. It's
This is
snowy,
true.
it's icy, it sucks. It really does. I talked to Wes about this all day. He texted me last week. He's like, "You're gonna laugh. It's like 70 degrees out, and I got my sweatpants and hoodie and everything on." And I'm like, "It's 42 right now outside. I'm in
shorts.
Yep." And he's just like, "Oh, hell no." But I mean, it'll be interesting to see how the states that actually get a winter, how much more we're going to be affected with the sickness.
Yeah.
But then the other thing too is you're going to see places where you can. Well, I'm not even going to say that because like California isn't doing anything. It really is going to be Florida is like that hot spot where, hey, you want to go see a show? You're going to have to go to Florida to do it.
Yeah.
And hopefully this all ends sooner than later, and we can get back to shows and normal. It's interesting to hear them talk Mania already. They're already talking Mania. They're already putting backup plans in place, and it already sounds like there's a possibility that it might go back to the Tampa Bay Stadium this year.
Well, I'll tell you, I think you have to make plans that it's going to go away. You have to make those plans. You also have to be prepared with a backup, B, the fact that it just won't happen.
Yep.
I mean, that's unfortunately, as much as it'd be nice to say, "Oh, we're going to do this, and we can make plans." And as you and I know from our canceled trip on the Jericho cruise, sometimes stuff happens, and you got no control over it.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, and they made some more announcements today, and man, yeah, it would be kind of cool to be on there with Kurt Angle, just like it'd be like, "Hey, remember that one time me and my friends paid for your Subway?" Anyways, but yeah, it's crazy. It's just crazy times. But as long as everybody just be safe and just be respectful. That's the biggest thing. Even if you don't necessarily agree with what's going on or whatever, doesn't mean you need to be a dick to people. Like that's the biggest thing right now. Everybody just needs to remember, like, be cool. We're all in it together.
Yeah,
we all have to deal with this together, and just be cool about it. Like,
one of the most
things are crazy. We got the election and everything, so I know things are crazy here. But that's why everybody should just watch more wrestling and forget about this. So we should end on this. It was funny because people were like, "Did you watch the debate? Did you watch the debate?" And I was like, "No, I watch professional wrestling. I don't need to watch that. It's the same damn thing."
Exactly.
So,
Except it was except that debate was like Undertaker and Goldberg. Two old guys.
It was the debate was the Rhino versus I don't remember who match that has been famously talked about. Vince backstage or at the house show canceling it halfway through the match. Get him! It's the shits. Get him out of there. Call them. Ring the bell. Damn it. Man, crazy times. But yeah, man, I'm excited to watch. I'm excited to watch some Dynamite tomorrow, and
I think it's going to be a great show.
I think so too. Anything with Jericho's good. I recommend that you should watch at least one of those Progress shows on the network before we go out next week, because I'd love to hear your opinion. Especially, like I said, it's just I enjoy how casual they open the show and the dude just does crowd work. It's like I wanted to be there and be like, ah. But yeah, man. So should we do that list next week then?
Let's do top five.
Top five.
Because we can get through these. We can't play video. We can show pictures, but we can't play video, so we can get through them real quick.
All right, top five big guys going down next Tuesday.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah, man.
You doing a show with Wes this week?
I'm not 100% sure. We may be having a show coming up either this week or next week. Oh, yeah, Chris, thanks for hanging out with us, guys.
Thanks Chris. We appreciate it, buddy.
Chris, keep watching. Like I said, Wes and I don't know if we're going to have one this week or next week. We're trying to maybe line up Papa Briscoe to come on the show.
That'd be fun.
I don't know if you've been watching it, but the dude's been killing it on Twitter with his big Briscoe announcement on Wednesday nights, and then every time he just gets cut off. And then this week he kept talking about Tony, and even had Tony Schiavone being like, "Oh God, that's it, we're out of time." Yeah, Jerry's having a grand old time over there on his phone and stuff. He's got some cool stuff going on though. They did just launch an agency. They're going to be like agents, reps for athletes. stuff like that. So cool business that Wes will have a little bit of helping in there too. So yeah, it's pretty funny. If you guys aren't doing it, make sure you follow Jerry Briscoe on Twitter, because he's throwing out some gems right now every Wednesday night, teasing. And I don't know if we talked about this, but real quick, just I don't think we did on our show, but sad to hear about Road Warrior Animal passing a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Maybe we should just end with that. Like, that sucks. Road Warrior Animal was one of the. I don't know. Did you ever meet him? Because that was some of your area too when those guys were coming up. Okay, I met him a couple years ago with Wes, and I mean, as just a human being, one of the nicest guys you would have met. Wes introduced me to him. He right away was just like, "You're friends with Wes. He's a good guy, so you're cool too." And literally would just sit and talk with me that night. Just a cool guy, man. So it was really sad. Big. I mean, one of the greatest tag teams ever.
Probably VV
and the Road Warrior Animal. I have to argue with that a little bit, because I got yelled at when I said they were the best one, because
Who yelled at you?
I forgot about the Briscoe brothers, Jack and Jerry, and that was a valid argument. But yeah, man.
I would say Dr. Ken Rainey and his interns.
There you go.
It's a different story. Anyway,
but yeah, man. So shout out to that. Rest in peace, Road Warrior Animal. And yeah, man. At least they're together again now. Hawk and Animal are back at it. So yeah, sad news. But again, rest in peace. And watch the network. Watch all the YouTube matches, man. I mean, watch the work these guys did, especially anybody who's new or wasn't around for that time. Watch and see why people get emotional when these guys go, man, because their legacies will live on, and it's because of the work they left us. So watch it, study it, enjoy it. So yeah, man. And we're going to bring you a cool list next week. I'm excited for the big guys.
I am too.
Is going to be on mine. I don't know where, but he's going to be on it just because of that suit. The freaking fur patch on his chest and then on his arms. Come on, man. Best suit ever. That was the best WrestleMania match in history. WrestleMania 9, him and the Taker came back from the stretcher, bro. And it was at Caesar's Palace. Biggest toga party in the world.
Yeah, that part of it was funny.
Bobby Heenan comes down backwards on the thing. Macho Man's in the thing, like eating the grapes. Yeah. Oh,
it was hilarious.
Entertaining. It was a shit show, but it was entertaining.
It was. All right, folks. We appreciate it very much. Next week, top 5 big guys list. And watch that Jericho 30 tomorrow night. Let us know what you thought about it next week. Tuesday, 8 o'clock Central Time. Bye-bye.
Later.